Since I'm collecting every Wii game, I want to go ahead, since I have about 300, I want to talk about some of the hidden gems I have, because even in this, row of games that I have here, there are some good games, there are some bad games. Even in here, there are some good games and bad games. So I want to just maybe do a mini series or do something. Ignore the mess, by the way. I'm currently sorting through and doing some other things, like these are all need to be replaced, but besides the point, I want to go ahead and go through and talk about some of these games, because there's some hidden ones on the Wii that people don't really talk about that people probably should. As I stated before, there are so many Wii games that came out in North America, let alone all around the world, but there are a lot of hidden gems that people do not talk about. So here's a list of 4 that I really want to mention, and if you guys end up liking this list and this idea where I do a little dive into these gems that you should play, I'll gladly do more and make this like a mini series or something. So let's get started. The first one I want to address is called Guilty Party. It's a cool, fun party game and puzzle style kind of game that was developed by Wide Load, which you all might know if you've been around the video game scene for a little while. They did Stubbs the Zombie, which is like a cult classic puzzle game that was made in '05 in a Halo engine. It has a lot of dark humor to it. But just take a quick dive on the story itself. In the game, you, the player, assume roles of the different members of the Dickens Detective Agency led by Commodore. The Commodore plans to retire and give the family business to someone who, once he's gone. But there is more to do than figure out the successor of the family business. You have to worry about the arch nemesis, Mr. Valentine, who knows he's retiring, so, does a big crime spree and tries to upend the Dickens Detective Agency. And you basically play the game to unravel this mystery and, prove all this stuff. And it's really fun and entertaining. I really didn't know about this game until one of my chat members on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Schmmo Gaming. If you want to come watch me live, play video games and stuff like that. So as you can see from the gameplay here, it's a fun, cool little party game, and I'm probably going to play it thanks to the recommendation of that one, chat member. It's really cool and interesting, and the humor is there, which I find, very interesting, and there's a wide variety of cast, and it's very interesting. So we'll definitely give it a try, and I really recommend you giving it a try as well, because I sat here and watched a bunch of different footage and I really like it. So we're gonna play it on stream. Another game that I really want to recommend is MadWorld, and I've talked about it a couple times along with another game on this little quick list. But MadWorld is a very unique game, especially on the Wii. You're playing in black and white world and you're painting it red with blood, and it was done by the guy who made great story games such as Vagrant Story and Ogre Battle. This guy wanted to try and dip his toes into the world of violence and make this beautiful game. But this takes place on Jefferson Island, and that has been converted into sets for this game show called Death Watch. As the player, you progress through different levels throughout Jefferson Island and basically painting it red with all these different people, and you're fighting for the giant prize money at the end because, it's a giant game show. And it was developed by Platinum Games. And because of the success of MadWorld and how well it did, they also did stuff like Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which a lot of people really liked, Bayonetta 2, which a lot of people liked. They did an 8-bit Bayonetta for Sega for some reason. They did Star Fox Zero. They did Nier. And Bayonetta 3, as well as Origins and Ninja Gaiden 4 that's coming out this year, or came out this year. I can't remember when it came out. But they also did a bunch of other things like Final Fantasy 14 for the PS5. They worked on that. They also worked on Grand Blue Fantasy. As you can see, this is backed up, and this was their basically launch title. And it's so good. And it's just the music, the character designs, the gameplay, just everything, especially when you get the control jack from like a third-person perspective with the nunchuck. It's so good. I really recommend it, and I plan on getting to play this on stream, as I already kind of did this before, but play it on stream either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, because this game just so good. Another one that I do want to mention, because it's pretty cool that it works with the Wii balance board as a skateboard, Skate It. It takes place between the events of Skate 1 and Skate 2, which, in case you didn't know, there actually is kind of a story. But in San Vanilla, the same fictional story that the OG game was, through several earthquakes occurred and caused widespread damage and evacuation of the city, leaving players free to skate alone and undisturbed. And they're able to travel through all different cities later in the game, which were also unaffected by the disaster, oddly enough, like London, Paris, Shanghai, San Francisco, Rio de Janeiro, that kind of stuff. Skate It, by the way, is the only game that doesn't feature any of the main protagonists. But it's pretty cool. The fact that you can actually use the Wii Fit board to flip and do things on the skateboard in the game, being super interactive with it, let alone it's a skate game, and Skate's pretty fun. I really do genuinely like the franchise, and the fact that a new one just came out, it's really cool. And I really think this went under the radar because not a lot of people talk about it. I do not hear people talk about Skate It, which, keep in mind, this came out on the phone, the DS, and the Wii. That's probably why it went under the radar now that I think about it, but it's still just a pretty cool game that no one really talked about. And I honestly like skateboard games. I've always been a fan of Tony Hawk, and I've always been a fan of the Skate It series. If you get a chance, it's like $5-6, and if you got a Wii board, which people just kind of get rid of them because no one wants the Wii Fit board, I recommend you doing this. I really think this would be a fun time and something that you can genuinely enjoy that people never really mention when it comes to the Wii. And this is the last game on this little list that I really want to talk about that I really do think went under the radar as well and had a pretty good variety of casts. But Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, basically adult ace attorney. That's how I look at it. For those who don't know, Harvey Birdman, attorney at law was a show that came on Adult Swim. Shouldn't have been watching it when I was younger, but it was funny. I really enjoyed it. Had people like Stephen Colbert, Steven Staten, Crispin Freeman come in there and do their voices, and it's actually really cool. And they even do this for the game as well as in the show, and they brought the cast from the show to do the video game lines as well. So everyone's legit, same people, same everything, and you get a cool, fun Ace Attorney style game with adult humor, very good story on top of it. And there's I think there's like 3 or 4 cases in there, so you can get done in like 3 or 4 hours, and there's a lot of replayability, let alone just like sharing this with your friends, because this could be straight up movie night and it would be a very good time. But this is something that no one really talks about either, which I find very odd. I want you guys to play it, and I really, really recommend it. Let alone go watch the show too. It's hilarious because he takes cases that deal with like George Jetson and like different other like Hanna-Barbera IPs and stuff, and kind of have to defend them in cases, like in court, like, domestic abuse or claims of domestic abuse or, drunk driving, stuff like that. It's just wild and it's hilarious. And I really do think people would enjoy the show and, this. Now, whether the humor actually carries over to today's society or not, it's a different story. But I digress. Play this game, you guys will enjoy it. So let me know what you guys think of these 4 little games that I have here. I really thought these would be cool to recommend to people to play, stuff that I actually really like myself, that I really think you guys should put your hands on or try to grab, or even find gameplays or full playthroughs of, and then just enjoy the show that comes with it. I really do think you guys would enjoy it, and it would have a fun time playing these. And these aren't really that expensive. I think MadWorld's like $15, and that's like 10 plus hours of gameplay there. Skate's like $6. Guilty Party's like $6, and that's like a party game with endless fun there. Harvey Birdman's sitting at like $10 or something like that. But let me know what you guys think. If there's some games you want me to look at on the Wii library that no one talks about, or you feel like they're underrated or something, let me know. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that hoop-de-lie YouTube stuff, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye!